Part 2 is a 3-hour paper. Okay. So then this part 1 again has A part and B part. Part A and part B. Right? Remember, this part 1 is a compulsory paper. There is no choice. Right? All the questions should be answered in your part 1 paper. Okay. Yes, mostly for grade 11. If you want, today we are doing a grade 10 chapter. You can stay, no problem. Okay. So then again, paper is in two parts, part 1, part 2. Part 1, 2 hours. Remember, it's a compulsory paper. Okay. There are two parts, part A and part B. Right. In part A, you have 25 small questions. Right. Each question carries 2 marks. Right. Again, this part part 1 is also 100 marks. Okay. So yes, part A, part B. Part A is 25 small questions. Part B, that is 5 structured essay. I'll tell you what are structured essays. Okay. So this is on your part 1 paper. 2-hour paper, compulsory, 100 marks. Part A, 50 marks. Part B, another 50 marks. Okay. Fine. Right. So if you take your part 2 paper has 2 parts. Again, part A and part B. Now, generally, there are specific questions which come for part A. There are specific questions which come for part B, right? But these are not definite. I've seen papers where those questions get jumbled also, right? But most probably following the pattern, there are some questions specific for part A and some questions specific for part, right? So again, this part 2, remember there are 6 questions here. They are called essay questions. There are 6 essay questions. But remember, you have to do only 5. You can omit 1. Right? You can choose 5, omit 1. Right? So in your part B, there are again 6 essay questions. Right? Again, you can omit 1 and choose 5. Right? So again, these are 50 mark. Part B is 50. I'll write here, choose 5. Part A is also 50. So altogether, this is another 100 marks paper question. Right? So this is 100 altogether 200. Then they add them both together and divide by 2 to get your final marks. This is how the paper is structured. Right? So when you take the part 1, part A, there are 25 small questions. Each question is 2 marks. So 2 into 25 is 50 marks. Right? Here, one structured essay. Now, the difference between structured essay and an essay is structured essay, they will give you a question and they give you follow-up questions. Row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, row number 4. Likewise, for you to guide the answer, right? For you to get the correct answer. Normally, structured essays are easier questions because they give you step by step on how to answer the questions. But essays are not like that, right? They give you a small paragraph on describing the question, right? You have to figure out on what to do in that question to get the answer, right? So that's the difference between essays and structured essays, right? So in part 2, you have, to be precise, you have 12 essay questions, right? 6 in part A, 6 in part B. Choose 5 in part A, choose 5 in part B, right? So in class, most of it, this is the chunk we'll be covering. Right? So in class, we'll be covering the part B of part 1 and part 2 paper. Mostly. I'm not saying we are not covering this part. Yes, on and off will come here. But then mostly we'll be targeting these questions. Why? Because these questions are almost definite questions, right? You can target and go to the paper and you can tell this question is going to come to the paper and you can study, right? But these 25 questions are a bit unpredictable, right? It can come all through the syllabus, right? For you to answer those questions, you have to do a lot of questions in your past paper and you have to be thorough all over the syllabus, right? So in that case, it's not I won't be touching. Yes, I'll be doing, when we are doing the relevant chapters, I'll be doing few questions on this, but most of the chunk will be covered on this part. That is part B of part 1 and the whole part 2 paper. Is it clear, everyone? Yes? Right? So this is just a small idea on how the class will go and how your paper will be in your oral exam, what to expect. Okay, right. Now, today will be covering a lesson from this structured essay, right? A definite question, no doubt, will come for your paper, right? So that is the first question. First question of your structured essay, that is the chapter fractions, right? So this chapter fractions you have learned in your grade 10, right? So we'll be covering everything that you need to know on fractions. I hope you'll be able to answer any questions after this, after today on fractions. Okay, right. Any doubt on the structure? Before moving on to the chapter, we'll start with the basics. Okay, just start with. I know you have already learned what is fractions, right? But just to give you a background idea, I'll just tell you what are fractions. Okay. Now, when you have a whole unit, let's say for example, the easiest example I can take the circle, right? When you have a whole unit, right, this unit can be separated into different parts, right? This unit can be separated into different parts. Now remember, a fraction is given based on a whole unit. This unit can be anything, right? This unit can be one classroom, right? A number of students in one classroom. It can be a cake. It can be a one whole cake is a one whole unit, right? It can be the money I have in my hand. It's a one whole unit, right? So any whole unit, right? A part of that whole unit can be represented as a fraction, right? Now, for example, let's say this is a cake, right? We are cutting the cake into 8 equal parts, right? So a part of this cake can be represented as a fraction, right? Now, remember, in a fraction, you have two parts. You have your numerator and you have your denominator, right? Now, in your denominator is always the total number of parts. Now, tell me here, what is the total number of parts? 8. Now, in your numerator is the number of parts that you want. Now, here we need one part. So, the fraction here is what? 1 over 8, right? So, when you read the fraction here 1 over 8, you have to understand, okay, there are 8 parts, right? The whole unit is divided into 8 parts. We have chosen one part from that whole unit, right? Just a basic idea on what is fractions, right? So, fraction, remember, a fraction can represent any quantity, can be money, can be mass, can be the time, anything, right? It can represent anything. There are two parts. One is the denominator, one is the numerator. Denominator always represents the total number of parts, while the numerator represents the number of parts that you need or that you want to show. Okay, right. Now, another thing is, remember, right? Now, for example, now always what you get confused in your exam paper, right? Now, whenever they talk about fractions, always think, right? Are they relating it to the main unit or are they relating it to the part of the fraction? Now, what do I mean by example? Let's say, you want to look at both. This is very important, right? Don't miss this. Look at the board, put your pen down. Let's say I have a cake here, right? I have a circle here. Okay, right. Now what do I do? If I want half of the circle, right? Now I have one whole unit. I'll take it as 1. Half of 1. What will you do? You will cut the cake into half. Okay. One part of it will represent half of the cake. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. Now suppose I say, right? Suppose I say, I want half of the remaining part. Very important word. Right now, remember, half of the cake is gone. Eaten, let's say. Right? Half of the cake is eaten. Now the remaining is what? The half of the cake. Right? Okay. Now I say I need half of the cake. My question, when I say half of the remaining part, right? Is it half of the whole unit? Now, if I take half of this remaining part, what is half of this remaining part? This part, right? This remaining part is half of the cake. I cut equally into 2. Half of the remaining is this part, right? Now, blindly, what you guys do, when they see half, you take half from the total cake. Is it half from the total cake? No, it's not half from the total cake. It's half of what? Half of the remaining remaining part. What is the remaining part? Half of the previous total cake. Right? So see here, if I take half of the remaining part is another half. This half is not total, right? Half of the remaining part is half of the total cake. Is that clear, everyone? Right? I'll repeat again. See here, right? You have a full cake, right? You eat half of it. Okay. Now what is remaining? Half of the cake from the total. Okay. Right. Now your mother comes and tell you, okay, from the remaining part, give half to your neighbor, let's say. Right? The mother comes and tell you, okay, from the remaining part, give half to your neighbor. Now my first question is that half of the remaining, is it half of the total? No. Right? Half of the remaining is half of the total? No. Right? Half of the remaining is half of the remaining. What is remaining? Half of the cake. Divide that into 2. This is half of the cake. Right? Now your duty is to check, okay, half of the remaining part is what of the total? Okay. Now, if I take this cake as the total, okay, now what? I have equally divided the cake into how many parts? 4 parts. Now tell me, half of the remaining part is what fraction of the total? 1 over 4. Right. Okay. So half of the remaining part is 1 over 4 of the total cake or the total unit. Right. Now, how do you get that? Here, half of the remaining is half of the cake. Of its multiplication, half into half, that is equal to 1 over 4. Right. Now, when we are doing questions, I'll remind you this. Right. Every time think, is this fraction from the total or is this fraction from the remaining part? Okay. Or not from the total. Is it from the total or not from the total? Is that understood, everyone? Yes? Okay. You'll understand better when we are doing furthermore questions. But if you have any doubt until now, please do ask me. Any doubt there?
No, sir.
No, right. Now, before moving on to the question, I want to move on to the question. But before that, you just learn the basics on how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions, because that's also important for you to get your answers correct. Okay, just very fast. Right. I'll explain this part again. Don't worry when you're doing questions, because that I know that's important. Where you guys get confused, I want you to understand that very well. Then any questions is answerable for you. Right? Okay. Now, first of all, addition. Yes. How do you add fractions? Let's say you have two fractions, 3 over 5 plus 1 over 5. Yes. How do you add these fractions? Just add the numerator. Why? Because the denominators are same, right? So you put the same denominator here. Okay, you add the numerator, your final answer will be 5 over 4. Right. Now, during addition, what if the denominators are different? During addition, what if the denominators are different? What is the first thing that you do? Yes, you think, okay, for me to add the fractions or subtract, my denominator should be the same. For me to get the same denominator, I have to find the multiple, the common multiple between both of them. That's in short form as called LCM, lowest common multiple, right? So now 2 and 16, right? Multiples of 6, 6, 12, 18, 24. Multiples of 2, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You can't, it's very difficult for you to think and get the LCM, right? So what do? We draw this downward division method. Okay? So we divide by starting from the lowest prime number, that is 2 here. When you divide both of them, 1, 3. Now can you divide either of the number by 2? No, then you move on to the next prime number, that is 3. Right? So again, 1, 3 divided by 3 is 1. If you can't divide, you write the same thing. Now, to get the LCM, you multiply the prime numbers that you use to divide those. That is 2 into 3, that is 6. Now you know of this number can be converted to 6 with a denominator of 6. Right? Now this is already 6, nothing to convert here. You need to multiply this by a number to convert it to 6. What is that? 3. So 2 into 3, you multiply the numerator also by the same number. Why is that? To get a equivalent fraction. Not to change the value of this fraction. You just multiply the denominator, the value of the fraction will change. Right? So to keep the value of fraction the same, we multiply the numerator also with the same whole number. Alright. So you have 2 over 6 plus now 1 into 3 is 3, 2 into 3 is 6. Now you see here, the denominators are the same. You just add the numerator, that will be 5 over 6. Okay. So this is all you have to know on addition of fractions. Simply, if the numerators are the same, directly you can add or subtract. Subtraction of the same thing. Directly add or subtract the numerator. If the denominators are different, first of all, find the LCM using the downward division method. Then convert both of the denominator to the same denominator after finding the LCM. Let's say LCM is 10. You convert both of this denominator to 10. If it's 15, convert both of these denominator to 15 likewise. Okay. So then when you multiply the denominator with a number, same number you multiply the numerator also. Why? Not to change the value of the fraction. In other words, that is called what? Equivalent fractions. Okay. So then you add them as usual here after getting the same denominator. At the numerator, you get your answer. Right? That's all on addition and subtraction also the same idea. Right? Okay. Now multiplication and division. How do you multiply? Let's say you have 3 over 4 multiplied by half. How do you multiply this? Directly, you multiply the numerator and denominator and denominator. So 3 into 1 is 3, 4 into 2 that is 8. So your answer 3 over 8. Supposedly something like this now. Let's say you have now you can multiply, no problem. Same idea, right? Multiplication will never change. Always numerator and numerator, denominator and denominator. But before multiplying here, you can do something. What is that? You can simplify. That's called cross simplification, right? So numerator, denominator, or the same fraction itself. Numerator, denominator. You check whether you can divide the numerator and denominator with the same number, right? So 3 and 9. Can you divide both of them with the same number? 2.
3.
You can divide by 3, right? So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Good. So 2 and 8. Honest students, what? 2 and 8 you can divide by?
2.
You can divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 8 divided by 2 is? Now you multiply as usual. 1 into 1 is 1. 3 into 4 that is 12. Okay. So final answer that is 1 over 12. So in multiplication, simple idea. Multiply the numerators, then multiply the denominators to get the answer. But before multiplying, always check whether you can cross simplify, right? Because now if you do not cross simplify, you get the same answer. Say 3 into 2, that is 6. And 8 into 9, that is 72. But 6 and 72, you can again simplify. You can divide this by 6, that will be 1. You can divide 72 by 6, that will be. So you get the same answer. But here, if you don't simplify, if you directly multiply, it won't come to your mind to simplify. You just leave the answer as 6 over 72, which is not the final answer. Always fractions, remember, the final answer should be simplified. Okay, you should give a simplified answer, guys. Right, you should give a simplified answer, right? So in division, the only change that you do, in division, the only change that you do is what? Yes, you change the, guys. Don't put the whiteboard, please. Right? I can see who's doing it. Okay. Right. So then what do you do? The only change that you do in division is what you do? You convert the division to multiplication. While you convert the division to multiplication, what do? You reciprocal the second fraction. That is, you make the denominator the numerator and the numerator the denominator. That is the only change that you do in division. Right? Now again, now it becomes a multiplication. Keep for cross simplifications. Can you simplify? Yes, you can divide 3 and 6 by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 4 and 8 you can divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Now here, numerator and numerator you can divide. 2 is 1. Divided by 2 is 1. You can 1. Okay? Right. So then, just a simple idea. I don't want you to get stuck while you are simplifying, right? On how to add and subtract, multiply, and divide fractions. Okay? Right. Good. Right. Now take the tube. If you don't have the tube, I told you, drop me a message. Right? This is my number, drop me a message to get the tube if you don't have it. Right. Now the first, there are 7 there. 7 past paper questions. Now all of the questions that we discussed here in the class are past paper standard questions. Right. So it's like this. I have taken questions from 2015 to 2021. Okay. So you might ask what happened in 2022, 2023, and the paper that happened this year. Those are kept for last. Right. All the questions from those paper I have not taken because we'll be doing all those 3 paper after ending all the chapters. So you like a revision exam, right? Like a rehearsal exam before going to the O-level paper, right? Okay. All right. Now take your first question there. I'll discuss the first question for you, right? Afterwards, you'll be doing it on your own. I'll give you time. You have to do it. Then we'll discuss each of the questions. That's how it will go. Okay. Now, take your first one. Now, while I'm reading, please go through. Right. Ananda had a small library, right? 1/6 of the books. Now tell me, what is the whole unit? What are they talking about here? A library, right? In direct words, books, right? So they are talking about books. Now they are going to give you fraction of the books. The book is the total number for the total unit. One unit is the book. Now they are going to give you the fraction of the types of books in the library. Okay. So if I take the circle here, this whole circle is books. Right. Now we'll read. Okay. 1/6 of the books in the library were children's story books and 1/4 were literature. Right. If you divide this total number of books into how many parts? Look at the denominator. 6 parts. Right. 1 part out of it is what? Children's book. Likewise, if you divide the whole thing into 4 parts, 1 part is literature. Now tell me, this 1/4 and 1/6. Are they from the total amount or the remaining amount? Think, are they from the total? 1/6 of the books. Books is the whole thing. Are children. 1/4 of the literature, again from the whole thing. 1/4 is literature. Right? So 1/6 is children books. Children. 1/4 is literature. Right? Now remember, both of them are from the total number. Right. Now my question, can you add them directly? Now both of them are from the total. Right. Now see here, what happens? I'll just explain you with the circles itself to understand better. Right. Now if I divide this into 6 parts, hopefully I can. You can go, guys. Right. Now we have 6 parts here. Let's say equal parts. Okay. I have divided into 6 equal parts. Right. Now 1 part out of it is what? 1 part out of it is children's book. Right. Now they are saying from the total, they didn't say remaining. 1/6 of the books in library were children and 1/4 were literature. Again from the total. So now see here, I have divided this again. Before I divide into 6 parts, now I'm dividing into 4 parts. Right? Now, again, 1 part, 1/4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, wait. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Now, these 4 parts, 1 part out of it is what? Is what? Literature. So, 1/6 here, right? First, in the beginning, I divided the circle into 6 parts. Then 1/6 is children. Then afterwards, I divide the circle into 4 parts, right? The difference is they are just dividing the circle into different number of parts. Okay, you'll understand in a while. Right. So if you add both of them, what will this fraction represent? Tell me the number of children books and the number of literature books. Is that clear, everyone? Okay. So if you add the number of children, if you add 1 6 and 1 4, you will get what? So 1 6 plus 1/4 will give you the number of literature and children book in the library. Is that clear until now? Yes. We'll move on forward. Right. Ananda donated these children's story books and literature books to the village school. Okay. Right. Find fraction of the total number of books. Find what fraction of total number of books were donated. Right. Now, Ananda, this whole circle were the total number of books that he had. Okay. Out of it, a part of the book, that is 1/6 of the book, that were children, 1/4 of the book that were literature, he donated this to the village library. Now, the question they're asking you, what part of the total number did he donate to the library? What part? Right? This is the total number of books. This shaded part is the number of books, or fraction of books that he donated to the library. Is that clear until now, everyone? Is it understood?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So to find the fraction of the books that he donated to the library, what do you have to do? Just add 1/4 and 1/6. Okay. So if you add here, now, first of all, can you tell me, can you add the number, the denominator? 100%?
No. No. No.
So first thing that you do, find the common denominator, find the LCM. So 4 and 6. Now use the downward division method, start dividing by the smallest prime number. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Still you can divide by 2 here. So still divide by 2, divide by 2 is 1. Now 3 you can't divide by 2, so keep it as it is. Now you can't divide either of the number by 2, but you can divide by 3. So now you start to divide and you multiply these prime numbers. Okay, that's how you find the LCM. 2 into 2, 4, 4 into 3 is 12. Now you know both of the denominators you have to convert into 12. Now 6 to convert to 12, what you have to multiply by? So then, same thing you do to the numerator. Right. 4 to convert to 12, what do you have to do? Multiply by 3. Same thing you do to the numerator. Right. So 2 into 1 is 2. 2 into 6, that is 12. That is your first fraction. 1 into 3 is 3. 4 into 3, that is 12. Now your final answer, the total number of the fraction of books that he donated to the library in the village, that is what? 5/12. Now, what do you understand by this 5/12? Right? The total number of books, it is divided into how many parts? 12 parts. If the total number of books is divided into 12 parts, how many parts he has donated? He has donated 5 parts to the library. Is that clear, everyone? Right. Now, in your mind, what should come? Okay, there are 12 parts. 5 parts is donated. What should come to your mind? What happened to the remaining number of parts? Now, how many parts is remaining?
7/12.
Okay, so remaining fraction that will be equal to 7/12. Out of these 12 parts, 5 is donated, 7 is remaining. So the fraction that is remaining with Ananda, that is 7/12. Is that understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes.
So always think, is this fraction, are they talking about from the total or are they talking about from the remaining part? We'll read it further. Right, see here. Now, what fraction of the total number were donated? Yes, from the total number, what fraction was donated? 5/12 was donated to the library. Okay, now the next one. The number of books donated was 150. Right, the question is, find the total number of books that were originally in the library. Right. Now they gave you a number. They told you the number of books that were donated is what? 150 books. Right. In fractions, what is that? 5 over 12. So in your mind, what should come? Okay, this 5 over 12 is representing how many books? 150 books, right? The fraction that is donated to the library is 150, and the fraction that is donated is 5 over 12, that is equal to 150. Okay, that means if you divide the number of books into how many parts, total number of books into 12 parts, 5 parts is equal to 150 books. Right? Now, if you need to find, okay, if 5 parts is equal to 150, how do you find the total number of parts? Yes, if 5 parts, see here, 5 over 12 is equal to 150. That means in your mind, first have to find what? One part. How many books is one part? If 5 parts is 150, how do you find the number of books in one part? Divide, right? So 5 parts is 150 books. One part is 550. How many books? 30 books. Okay. Now, if you divide the total number of books into 12 parts, see here, if you divide the total number of books into 12 parts, out of that, 5 parts is equal to 150. Remember the question. What's your question? You are going to find the total number of books. Okay. So 5 parts is equal to 150. Right. Now, the next step we are going to do is going to find how much books is equal to one part. So then if 5 parts is equal to 150, one part is 150 divided by 5, that is 30. Now, how do you find all 12 parts? If one part is 30 books, how do you find for all 12 parts? Anyone?
30 into 12.
30 into 12. One part is 30 books. How many books is 12 part? That is 30 books into 12 parts. That is equal to what? 30 into 12, that is 360 books. That means the total number of books in the library, that is equal to 360. Right? Now, this is also an important calculation for you to understand. I'll go through it again. Now, the first thing you have to understand, look at the board, right? I'll go from the beginning. Okay? Right. Now, see here, now you might think, okay, I'm telling this 1 over 6 is also from the total. This 1 over 4 is also from the total. Like you might be a bit confused there. I think you are a bit confused there, right? Now think here. Now, always you can't represent with the same denominator. You understood? Right. Now, of the total number of parts, you can't always have the same denominator for you to compare easily. Right. Now, from the total number of books, if you divide the total number of books into 6 parts, one part is children. Likewise, if you divide the total number of books into 4 parts, again, one part is literature. Right? Now, for you to get the number of children and the literature books, both are from the total number of books. Both the fractions are from the total number of books. That means you can directly add them because they are both from the total number. So you are going to add, you got 5 over 12. Okay, now in your mind, see here. Now I'll convert and show it to you. See here. This is the number of children books. This is the number of literature books. It's the same fraction. See here. 2 over 12, if you simplify, what will you get? 2 over 12 if you simplify. Divide by 2, 1. Divide by 2, 6. 1 over 6. 3 over 12 if you simplify. Divide by 3, 1. Divide by 12, 1 over 4. Now both of these fractions, 12 over 2, remember 2 over 12 is equal to 1 over 6. 3 over 12 is equal to 1 over 4 if you simplify. Okay. Now, what have we done? Right? We have converted both of these denominator to the same denominator. Now we can add them easily. Right? So then this 1 over 6 is equal to 2 over 12. 1 over 4 is equal to 3 over 12. Right? Now that means if you divide the total number of books into 12 parts, 2 parts is what? Children books. 3 parts is literature books. Now, if you add both of them, you're getting 5 parts. That means out of 12 parts, 5 parts is children and literature. Is that clear, everyone? Yes. So the total books is divided into 12 parts. 5 parts is equal to children and literature. Now the next thing they are giving you, this 5 parts is equal to 150 books. Okay, right. So now they are telling you with this data, with this information they have given you, find the total number of. So then if 5 parts out of 12, if 5 parts is 150 books, then we find how much is 1 part, how many books represent 1 part, or how many part, right? One part represent how many books, right? So 1 part, if 5 part represents 150 books, 1 part will represent 150 divided by 5. So then that is 30 books. Now you know, if you divide the total number of books into 12 parts, 1 part is equal to 30 books. Now easily you can find the total number of books. That is, there are 12 parts, 30 into 12, that will give you the total number of books. Is that clear, everyone? Any doubt there, guys? Any doubt? Clear? Okay, if you want to get printouts of the tute, yes, you can. Okay. For the physical students, I do provide them, but the online students I can't. So then I've thought to already I've made all the tutes for all the lesson. I'll let you know. Maybe by the end of this month or maybe end of this next week, I'll prepare a book, like a compilation of all the lessons that I have divided the past paper into relevant lessons. Okay, and I'll let you know if the book is available. So you can directly get the book from me, which has all the chapters that will come to your exam. Okay, right. Now we continue. Now is the important part. See here. Of the remaining books, Ananda gave 60 to a neighbor. Right. Now, from the fraction T, 5 over 12 is gone. Right. If you divide the books into 12 parts, 5 parts is given to the library. It's done. Right. Now, of the remaining, now what part of the fraction are they talking about? The remaining from this. What is the remaining fraction? 7 over 12. They're talking about that 7 over 12. Right. So of the remaining books, that fraction, that is 7 over 12, Ananda gave 60 to a neighbor. Okay, now we'll read it. Okay, now what is the other thing that should come to your mind? 60 books. What is the fraction of 60 books? Now look at the code here. 1 over 12 is equal to how many books? 30 books. Right? So 60 books. What is the fraction? If one part is 30, how many parts is 60?
2 parts.
How many parts?
2 parts.
2 parts. Right? So 1 over 12 is 30 books. So 2 over 12 will be equal to what? 60 books. Right? So then 7 over 12 is the remaining. From that, we gave what? 2 over 12 to the neighbor. Right? 7 over 12 is remaining. From that, we gave 2 over 12 to the neighbor. Right? In the number of books, he gave 60 books to the neighbor. This is the question. We don't know what they're asking for. Find what fraction of the total number of books that were originally in the library was given to the neighbor. What are they asking for? This 2 over 12. Originally, we have how many books? 360 books. From that, he gave 60 books to the neighbor. So then you will tell 1 over 12 is equal to 30 books. Right? So 2 over 12 is equal to 60 books. Therefore, he gave 2 over 12. The fraction that he gave to the neighbor, that is equal to 2 over 12. Or there's another way you can do it. See here. You can tell. See here, in the denominator, it's always the total number. What is the total number of books in the library? What do we find? 360. How many books did he give to the neighbor? 60. Now find this fraction. 0, 0, you can divide by 6, 1. Divide by 6, 6, 1 over 6. This 2 over 12, if you simplify, what will you get? 1. Same answer. Right? But this way, thinking this way is smart. Right? You have already found 1 over 12 is equal to 30 books. Then in your mind, if you give 60 books, then that fraction is equal to 2 over 12. Okay, right, good. Now last part. See here. After giving to the neighbor, Ananda sold 3 over 5 of the remaining books. Okay, now my question is that 3 over 5 from the total number of books or the remaining number of books?
Remaining.
Number, right? Remember that 3 over 5 is not from the total. This is the total number of books. This 3 over 5 is not from the total. Right? Now I'll write everything, the story here. Look at the board. Right? Now in the beginning, 5 over 12. In the beginning, 5 over 12 given to the village. That is the children and the literature book. Right? After that, he gave 60 books to the neighbor. That is what? 2 over 12 given to the neighbor. Okay? Right. Now what are they doing? Right. After giving to the village and the neighbor, right? How many parts they give to the village? 5 parts. How many parts given to the neighbor? 2 parts. Right? So then, if you add both of them, that is 7 over 12. So 7 over 12 is gone out of the library. Library had 12 parts, 5 parts given to the village, 2 parts given to the neighbor. Now remaining is what? Sorry, the out of the library, there are 7 parts gone. Now what is remaining? Yes? What is remaining? Out of 12 parts, if 7
5 over
parts,
12.
how many parts are remaining?
5 over 12.
5 parts. Okay. Now the remaining number of books are 5 parts. Now what are they saying? After giving to the neighbor and to the village, Ananda sold 3 over 5 of the remaining, not the total. Right? 3 over 5 of the remaining. This is the remaining fraction. So then what did Ananda do? Ananda sold 3 over 5 of the remaining, that is 5 over 12. Okay? 3 over 5 of the remaining becomes multiplication. Then what happens? Can you cross simplify? Yes. 5 and 5, 3 and 12, you can divide by 3, 1 and 4. So that means now, what is this number now? 1 over 4.
The
Is
amount
this from the total? Okay. 1 over 4 is the amount. Right? Now see, I'll include the diagram. Try to put the diagram. Now, how can I include in the diagram? Okay, see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This 4 parts, I'm dividing it into 3. So then I get 12 parts. I have now 12 parts. Okay, I have 12 parts. Now what happened? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was given to what? Was given to the village. 5 parts were given to the village. Now after that, 2 parts. Right. 2 parts are given to the, what did he do? He sold. No, neighbor, sorry. 2 parts were given to the neighbor. Right. Now how many parts are remaining? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, I get some mistake. Here. Okay, now 12 parts. Okay. Now, okay. So now 5 parts are remaining. Right? 5 parts are remaining after giving to the neighbor and the village. Okay. Now what? 3 over 5 of the remaining part. Right? 3 over 5 of the remaining part. Now what are they saying? 3 over 5 of the remaining. Now the remaining part, this is the remaining part. What are they doing for the remaining part? What is the denominator? 5. What is the numerator? What did I tell you? Denominator is the always represent the total number of parts. Numerator is the number of parts that we need. Right? Now 3 over 5 of the, just write as So the remainder of parts, what are they doing? They are dividing it into three parts. And they are taking 3 into 5 parts. The question is already marked. Now, how many parts are they choosing? 3 parts. We need 3 parts. Okay. So these 3 parts we are choosing. That is the number of books sold by Anand. Right. Now look at the bigger picture. Right. Now check. These are the 3 parts sold. Now, from the total number, what is your total? This is your whole total number of books. From the total number, these 3 parts, what fraction is that? Can the board and tell me? These 3 parts, what fraction is that from the total number of books? Yes, see here, these 3 parts, I have divided this circle into 4. Right? If you take these 3 parts, that is 1 part out of this 4. Right? So out of the total number, what is this? 1/4. If you divide this circle into 4 parts, these 3 small parts will represent 1 out of it. That is what represented here. Okay. So then 3/5 of the remaining. This 3/5 is not from the total. This 3/5 is when you divide the remaining into 5 parts, we need 3 parts. Right? The remaining is now what? 5/12. Now this 5/12, we are dividing this 5/12 into 5 parts. Remember, this 5/12 already divided into 5 parts. So it's making our life very easy, right? So this remaining, we are dividing it into 5 parts and we are choosing 3 parts. Okay, so 3/5 into 5/12. So that is, if I don't simplify this here, I'll just cut this and this. What will I have? I will have 3/12. Okay, so that means this 12 is what again the total number of parts originally we had, right? Out of that 3 parts, he have sold to the what? He have sold the books, those 3 parts. Is that understood by everyone? I went very deep into the question. Okay, I don't think any of the teachers will teach you this much regarding fractions. Okay, is that understood, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. From the total number of whatever it is now, here it is books. Is it from the total number of books or is it from the remaining? Okay. Now here you can clearly see this 3/5 is from what? Is from the remaining. So 3/5 remaining is 5/12. You multiply and the answer that you get will be from the total number of books. Okay. Right. Good. Okay. Now come to the second one. That is 2016 paper. Come to that. This class will be until now. Usually this class I have planned 1 to 4. Okay, this class is planned 1 to 4, but today I'll finish it a bit early because there's a small technical issue. Right? There's a clash between classes. Now in physical also I hardly got a place to do the class, right? Online also there's a small issue, but only today I have an exception. I'll let you know if there's a change in the time or we can solve the issue in the institute, right? But I want to have a 3-hour class because that will give me time for you to do the questions and then to discuss, right? Otherwise, if I already discuss, there's no point. You understand the parts that you don't understand. You will just come, look at the questions and get stuck. I want you to get stuck and see where you get stuck, right? Because when you get stuck, you start thinking, wait, okay? I'll change the internet connection. Give me a second. Give me a second, okay? I'm changing the internet connection. Is it better now? Is it better now? Get stuck while doing the questions, then I want you to understand where are you getting stuck, and I want you to learn out of it, right? Not just pointlessly coming here, doing the questions and leaving. I mean, listening to me, doing the questions and leaving. No, that won't work. I want you to do, right? Okay, now we'll start second one. Today it will finish by 3:30. We'll see. Right, I give you 5 to 7 minutes. Right, read the question and answer the. Think carefully, right? Don't just answer just because you have a bunch of fractions. Don't just add them and get the answer. Think rationally and get the answer, right? What is this fraction? What is this? Can we add them, right? You can add them if it's only from the total number, right? If not, if they are talking about the remaining, get it for the total number. Number one, you found out, but 13/18 is used to buy sports equipments and musical instruments. Then from row number two, you found out 1/18 is used to buy books. So 13 parts used to sports and music. One part is to books. So now 13 plus 1, that is 14. Now how many parts are remaining? Parts. Out of 18, 4 is remaining. Okay, right. Keep that in mind and do the next one. The Kid City made a cash donation to community center, right? Out of that, 2/9 of the total. See here, they gave you itself total. So 2/9 of the total amount he donated was used to buy musical instruments, and half still from the total, half was used to buy sports equipment, right? So if you divide the total cash into 9 parts, 2 parts is given to musical instruments. Again, if you divide the total cash into 2 parts, 1 part is given to buy sports. So again, both of this equation, they are talking about the total number, from the total number, right? If they are talking about from the total number, always remember you can add and subtract. Okay, right. Find what fraction of the total amount was used to buy musical instruments and sports, right? So from the total, 2/9 is used to buy musical instruments, and again from the total, half was used to buy sports equipment, right? So if you add both of them, you will get a fraction used to buy musical instruments and used to buy sports equipment, right? So 2 and 9, you find the SCM, again use the downward division method, right? 2/9, start dividing by 2, 1/9 here, then you can't divide by 2, use 3. 1,3 and again 3, 1,1. So 2 into 3, 6, 6 into 3 is 18. So that means both of the denominator you have to convert to 18. So 2 to convert to 18, you multiply by 9. So numerator also you multiply by the same number. 9 to 18, you multiply by 2. Numerator also you multiply by the same number. See here? Now you have 4/18 plus 9/18, that is equal to 13/18. So that means if you divide the total cash into 18 parts, 13 parts is used to buy sports and musical instruments. If you go backwards further, see again, the total cash is divided into 18 parts. 4 parts is used to buy musical instruments. 9 parts is used to buy sports equipment. Okay, right, good. Now, 1/5 of the remaining amount was used to buy books for the library. Now, don't think 1/5 of the what? From the total amount. Okay, I see students, what they do, they directly take whatever, they take 13/18 and they subtract 1/5. You can't do this. Can you do subtraction here? No. This is from the total part, this is from the remaining part. So you can't add those subtract the total and the remaining part. You can't do that. Okay, always remember when adding or subtracting, it should be from the total part. Clear? I made it very clear, right? So now 1/5 of the remaining amount. Now that means we have to know what is the remaining amount, right? Now when the cash is divided into 18 parts, remember the 13 parts is gone, right? So out of Now there are 18 parts, 18 over 18. This is the denominator, the total number of parts. We need 18 parts, so we put 18 in the numerator. We used up 13 parts. Out of 18, we used up 13 parts. Now what is remaining? The fraction, the remaining fraction is 5 over 18. Now what they are saying, 1 over 5 of the remaining was used to buy the next one. That means 1 over 5 of the remaining is again divided into 5 parts, and we have chosen how many parts? 1 part. Remember, the remaining is already, how many parts are there? Already there are 5. We are going to choose 1. So that means your answer will be 1 over 18. We'll do the calculation. See here? 1 over 5 of remaining is 5 over 18 of remaining, right? So 1 over 5 into 5 over 18, now 5 and 5 simplified. Now this 1 over 18, remember, this is from the total amount, right? Remember 18, the total amount is divided into 18 parts. Now one part is used for what? Is used to buy typing, right? 4 parts for musical instruments, 9 parts for sports. Now 1 part to buy, right? Room number 3. The amount remaining after purchasing goods. Now there are 18 parts, 13 parts is used to buy sports and musical instruments. Then you have remaining 5 over 18. From this 5 over 18, now 1 part is used to buy books. Now what is remaining? Now from this 5 over 18, we used 1 over 18 to buy books. Now the remaining is what? 4 over 18. This 4 over 18 is used for renovation. That's row number 3. What fraction of the total amount is used for renovation? Right? Again, if you have anything doubt, please unmute and ask. Okay. Now, if the renovation cost was 20,000, find the total amount. Miss the kitchen. Now remember, I told you this, right? You can simplify this further. If you divide by 2, 2 over 9. Okay? If the renovation cost, what is the fraction used for renovation? 2 over 9. 2 over 9 is the fraction used for renovation. If that is 20,000, what is the total amount? Mr. Kitsiri donate. That means here, if you divide the money Kitsiri has into how many parts? 9 parts. 2 parts is equal to what? 20,000. Okay. So then 2 over 9. 2 over 9 is equal to 20,000. Now the question is how much money did Mr. City donate? Indirectly what they are asking, how much is 9 parts? Okay, how much is the total number of parts? For that, first thing you will do, you will find what is 1 part is equal to. If 2 parts is equal to 20,000, how do you find 1 part? 20,000 divided by 2, that is 10,000. So if 1 part is equal to 10,000, how much is 9 parts? 10,000 multiplied by 9, now that is equal to 90,000. Okay, the amount of money Mr. Kitsri donated to the charity or whatever he is, that is 90,000. Is there any doubt here? Is there any doubt, guys? Online students?
No, sir.
No? Alright. Now we'll move on to the third one. Now with the speed we are going, I guess we can finish soon. Right. Now again, I'll give you 3 to 5 minutes. I'll pray and come and pray. Right. Meanwhile, you guys do it. Okay. Household water tank is completely filled with water. When we're talking about water, so the one whole unit is the water tank, home water in the tank. Okay. Right. 1/10 of the water in the tank is used to the garden. Right? Water the garden. Right. Is it from the total amount? Yes. 1/10 is from the total amount. And 1/4 is used for bathing. Again, is 1/4 from the total amount? Yes. Right? From the total tank, if you divide the tank into 10 parts, 1 part is used to water the garden. If you divide the total tank into 4 parts, 1 part is used for bathing. So both of them are from the total amount. Okay, right. Now, what fraction of the total water in the tank is used to water the garden and for bathing? They're asking what fraction from the total amount is used for both, right? So what can you do? You can directly add them. 1/10 is used for gardening, 1/4 is used to bath, right? To take a bath, right? So then what you can do to find the amount of both, because both are total, you will add them together, right? So 4 and 10, what is LCM that you found out? 20, right? So then 10 to convert to 20, you will multiply by 2. Numerator also you multiply by 2. 4 to convert to 20, you multiply by 5. Numerator also you multiply by 2. Now 1 into 2 is 2, 2 over 20 plus 5 over 20. That means if the water in the tank is divided into 20 parts, 2 parts is used to water the garden and 5 parts is used to bath. Okay? Now if you add them together, that will be equal to 7 over 20. That means if the tank is divided into 20 parts, 7 parts is used to water the garden and for bathing together. Is that clear? Right. Now next part. Okay, now careful. Of the remaining water in the tank, 4 over 30. Now, what are they talking about? 4 over 13. Is it from the total amount? No, that's from the remaining amount. 4 over 13 is used to wash the clothes. Right. Now, first of all, we have to find the remaining amount. Right. If the tank is divided into 20 parts, 7 parts is done. What is remaining now? How many parts are remaining? 13 parts. Right. Now, see here. There are 20 parts in the tank, right? 20 parts out of the 20 parts in the tank, right? So there are 20 parts in the tank. Out of these 20 parts, we already know 7 parts are used up. Right, 7 parts are used up. Now the remaining number of parts in the tank out of 20 is 13. Right. Now what are they doing? The remaining of the water in the tank, 4 over 13 is used to wash the clothes. The remaining, that means they are dividing according to 4 over 13. What does 4 over 13 mean? We are dividing something into 13 parts and we are taking 4 parts. Okay. So the remaining, we are dividing into 13 parts. Luckily, already divided into 13 parts. Now, out of that, we are taking how many parts? 4 parts. That means what will be your answer? 4 over 13 of the remaining. Right? 4 over 13 of the remaining, 13 over 20, that's the remaining. Of means multiplication. So 4 over 13 into 13 and 13 cancel. We leave it like this for a while. 4 over 20. So that means, again, this is your total amount. If the tank is divided into 20 total parts, 4 parts is used to wash clothes. Okay? Then when you are giving answer, simplify further. Divide both by 4 here, you will get 1 over 5. Okay? I left it like this for you to teach you something. Okay? Right. Find what fraction, row number 2. Find what fraction of the water in the completely filled tank used to wash clothes. That is 4 over 20. Simplify. 1 over 5. Right? Now, row number 3. Find what fraction of the tanks remain filled now. They're asking now what is remaining. We'll go from the beginning. Right? Now, see here. Out of 20 parts, 7 parts is used for what? Is used to wash, to garden and take a bath. Then we found out 4 parts is used to what? Used to wash clothes. Right now, how much is that? 11 over 20. That means from 20 parts, how many parts are used up? 11 parts are used up. Okay? From 20 parts, 11 parts are used up. Now, what is remaining out of 20? 9 is remaining. So 20 over 20, that's the total. 11 parts are used up. Now, the remaining, now what the fraction remains? The tank, that is 9 over 20, right? 9 parts from the total are remaining. Right, last question. When another 500 liters of water is used for kitchen requirements, 1/4 of the tanks remain, right? So now what they are saying, 500 liters from the tank is taken out. Now 1/4 is remaining. Right. Now you have to find out what is that 500 liters. that 500 liters, what is the fraction representing 500 liters? I will do it on this side. Now tell me first of all, what is the remaining amount? 9 over 20 is remaining. So 9 over 20 is remaining. After removing 500, but 9 over 20 is remaining before removing what? Now what are they doing? 500 liters is removed from the tank. So minus 5, I'll just put in a bracket for you to show. This is not a fraction, right? Let's say this is the fraction of the 500 liters, right? If you remove a fraction which is equal to 500 liters, what is remaining in the tank now? 1 over 4. I'll explain again. Okay, right. So we were saying, right? So we were saying, what was it? Yes, right. So 9 over 20 is remaining. Let's assume this is the fraction of 500 milliliters. Okay, 500 liters. So if you subtract the fraction of 500 liters from the remaining amount, what is remaining now in the tank? 1 over 4, right? 1 over 4 is now remaining in the tank. Now what is find? You have to find what is this fraction. Clear? Right. Now just a matter of solving the equation here. We take 1 over 4 to this side, 500 to this side. So then 9 over 20 minus 1 over 4 is equal to the fraction that is going to represent 500 liters. Okay. Now we just have to convert this to 20 multiplied by 5 here. Right? Sorry, 4 here. Sorry, 5. Correct. Okay. Multiply by 5. Now what we have? 9 over 20 minus 5 over 20. That is equal to the fraction that will represent 500 liters. Okay. Now that is what 9 minus 4, that is 4 over 20. Right. So if you simplify this further, you can simplify, you will get 1 over 5. So 1 over 5 is the fraction that is representing what? 500 liters. So that means if you divide the tank into how many parts? 5 parts. 1 part is equal to 500 liters. Now the question, find the capacity. What is the total volume of the tank? Right. Now 1 part is equal to 500 liters. So I'll continue down here. This is from another part. Now if 1 part is equal to 500 liters, now what you have to find? You have to find what is 5 parts. Right? That is 500 multiplied by 5, that is equal to 2500 liters. Is that clear, everyone? Good. Okay. Now go to the fourth question there. We try to finish all the questions before I play that. We have 4 more questions, right? 1, 2. Right. Not in a hurry. Right. We have to understand and do it. Right. Now go to that to the fourth question. Try to do that. If you have any doubt, please ask. Okay. They were planning to do it like this. The man was planning to do it like this. But now what happened? Right? After giving 1 over 6 to his brother, now read again. After giving 1 over 6 to his brother, he distributed the remaining amount as original factor. Means 2 over 5 of the remaining, he gave it to his brother. Okay? So 2 over 5 of the remaining gave to Y. Remaining. After giving to his wife, then the remaining amount. That remaining amount now equally divided among his 3 sons. That should be the now usually this 2018. If you see all the questions in 2018 are a bit different. It's a bit difficult actually. Okay. Nothing is difficult, but I'm saying it's a bit different from other past paper questions. You can understand when you're doing other questions also. Right? Nevertheless, right? A man intended to distribute a certain amount of money he had by giving 2 over 5 to his wife and the remaining amount equally divided. However, he had to give 1 over 6 of this amount to his brother before distributed as intended. So first of all, giving 1 over 6, then 2 over 5 of the remaining given to wife. Right? Then what? Then the remaining amount is dividing among 3 sons. Okay? Good argument, correct. So now a man intended to distribute a certain amount of money he had by giving 205 to his wife, and the remaining he was planning to divide equally among his three sons. Right? So initially the plan 205 to wife, then what? Then what is remaining? 3 over 5. 3 over 5 is dividing among three sons. Right? So division 3 over 5, division becomes multiplication, reciprocal becomes, now remember, all the whole numbers have a denominator of 1. So when you reciprocal, you get 1 over 3. So then one son will get 1 over 5. This was the initial plan. 2 over 5 to his wife. Each son will get 1 over 5, 1 over 5, and 1 over 5. I think what happened, he gave, after that, the next plan, he gave 1 over 6 to his brother from the total amount. Now, as intended, the remaining amount, 2 over 5 of the remaining. Now, after giving 1 over 6, what is the remaining? Yes, how many parts are remaining? 5 parts are remaining. 5 over 6, he gave it to his wife. Okay? So then, what fraction of the initial amount is the wife received now? So 2 over 5 of his multiplication, 5 over 6. 5 and 5 cancel. 2 and 6, 1 and 3. Now, the wife received 1 over 3 of the total amount. Is that clear? Right. Now, that is Roman number 1. Now, Roman number 2 is Roman number 1. What fraction of the initial amount did he have remaining after giving his brother and his wife? To his brother, he gave 1 over 6. To his wife, he gave 1 over 3. Okay? So if you add them together, if you multiply this by 2 to get the same denominator, you get 1 over 6 plus 2 over 6. That is 3 over 6. So 3 over 6 he has given to his brother and to his wife. Now what is the remaining after giving to his brother and wife? 3 over 6 is remaining. Okay, keep that in mind. So then the answer should be yes, 6 over 6. Now 3 over 6 is given to his wife and brother. Total number of parts is 6. Out of that 3 is given. So then now the remaining is again 3 over 6. Okay. Now last question is a bit tricky. See here. The amount a son received was 40,000 less rupees than the amount he was to receive originally. Now, what is the fraction he was to receive originally? 1 over. But now, what is the fraction he received now? See here. Now, the remaining amount is divided among the three sons. So, 3 over 6 is divided among three sons. So then 3 over 6, division becomes multiplication, 1 over 3. Now, how much will one son get? 1 over 6. He was originally planned to give 1 over 5, which is this is a higher amount. So now they are saying he got 40,000 less. That means the difference between, if you subtract that fraction from this difference means subtraction. Okay? So if you find the difference between both the fractions, that is representing, you not put equal sign, you put an arrow, that is representing how much? 40,000. Okay, that is representing 40,000. Right? Now, yes, you can simplify this further, 1 over 2. Okay, simplify this further, 1 over 2, divide by 3, 1 over 2. Okay? Now, simplify this. 5 and 6, what is the LCM? Yes? We can find
30.
5, 6, divide by 2, 5 and 3, divide by 3, 5 and 1, divide by 5, 1 and 1. 2 into 3, 6, 6 into 5, 30. So 30 is LCM. Multiply by 6 here to get 30, then multiply here also by 6. Multiply by 5 here to get 30, multiply here also by 5. So 6 over 30 minus 5 over 30, that is representing 40,000. So if you subtract here, you get 1 over 30. So that means if you divide the total money into 30 parts, one part is equal to 40,000. Now to find the total money the father had, we need to find how much is. So if one part is 40,000, 30 parts is multiplied by 30, 4 into 3 is 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 5 zeros here. So this is the amount, 1.2 million, that is the amount of part. Okay, I'll explain it again to get the code. I think until here it's okay. Problem number 2. Okay, problem number 3 I'll explain it again. Right, now they are saying the sun got 40,000 less amount than that was planned initially. What was the plan initially? The plan initially is to give 205 to its wife, the remaining is 305, divide among 3 sons, one son will get 105. Right? But now because they gave to the brother, the remaining was 3/6. You divide it by 3, now one son will get 1/6. Right? Now that's saying if they had divided, because they had divided in this manner, instead of the first method, the son got 40,000 less. Okay? So the son was supposed to get 1/5, but now he got 1/6. The difference between those amounts is equal to 40,000. That means if you subtract the money the son got now from the money the son was supposed to get, that is equal to 40. So 105 minus 106. Now remember, I'm subtracting because both of them are from the total amount. Always remember the basics. Okay, I'm subtracting because both of them are from the total amount. So 105 minus 1/6, that is equal to 40,000. Then I do the calculation. I get 1/30 is equal to 40,000. Again, this 1/30 is from the total amount because it starts from the total amount. Okay. So if one part is 40,000, 30 parts is equal to 1.2 million. Arkham okay? Right. If you're done with that, move on to the 5th question. Start making this important. 7/15 of the total length of a drain was dug on the first day. Right? So on the first day, 7/15 was dug. That means if the total drain is divided into 15 parts, 7 parts is dug on the first day. Okay? And 1/4 of the remaining, remember, it's not from the total, it's from the remaining. So can you subtract 7/15? So can you add 7/15? Can you add it? 7/15, 1/4? No, you can't. Okay, they are not from the total. 7/15 is from the total, 1/4 is from the remaining. So you can't add them, remember. Right? So 1/4 of the remaining length was done on the second day. Right? So second day, first day 7 parts done. Then second day, 1/4 of the remaining. We have to find first of all what is the remaining, then find what is 1/4 of the remaining to get from the total number of parts. Okay? Now, Roman number 1. At the end of the first day, what fraction of the total length of the drain remaining to dug? They are asking what is the remaining after end of the first day. First day, they have dug 7 parts out of 15. Total there are 15 parts, 7 parts were removed, done already. So now what is remaining? 7 when you subtract from 15, what you have? 8. So then out of 15 parts, 8 parts are remaining, right? You can definitely answer it, okay? 8 parts are remaining. After the end of the first day. Okay, definitely answer it here. Right, now we are doing the 5th one. Okay, now number 2. What fraction of the total length of the drain was dug on the second day? Second day, 1/4, not from the total, from the remaining. You know, remaining is 8/15. So 1/4 of 8/15 was dug on the second day. Right? So if you solve this 1/4 into 8/15, simplify 8 and 4, you can divide by 4, you get 2 here. So then your answer 2/15. Now here, is this from the total number? Yes, that this is from the total number. So 7/15 on the first day, 2/15 on the second day. Right. Now, at the end of the first 2 days, first day 7, second day 2, so that is 9. 9 over 15 is done on the first 2 days. Now, in your mind, 15 parts, 9 parts is gone. What is remaining? 6 parts. So that is the remaining at the end of the first 2 days. A further length of 600 meters of the total length is remained to done. Okay. So then 600 meters is remain to done. Also in your mind, you know, from 8 over 15, 2 over 15 is done on the second day. So then after the second day, you know there are 6 over 15 is remaining, right? So this 6 over 15, they are telling you that is representing how many meters? 600 meters. Now the question, find the total length or total length of the drain. Okay, so 6 over 15 is 600 meters. So if 6 parts is 600 meters, how much is 1 part? Right? So 1 part, 1 over 15, how do you find that? If 6 parts is 600, 600 divided by 6, that is equal to 100 meter. So 1 part is 100 meter. To find the total length, how many parts? 15 parts. So 100 multiplied by 15. So that is 1500. Okay. That is the total length of the drain. Is that clear, everyone? Any doubt under this point?
No, no, sir.
No, right? Okay, last one is something to do with mandates. No, I'll write the answer, but don't stress much because we'll be learning it later on. Right? Now, it has been estimated that 4 men will require 3 days to dig the remaining 600 meters. How many more men need to be engaged to dig this length in 2 days? Okay. So when doing these questions, you need to make like a table, man into days. That is man days. Always have this table form. Okay. Now they require 4 men to finish the work in 3 days. Right? So then it gives you 12 man days. Remember, this man days is the energy, the amount of task you have to do. That will never change. Okay? Still, to finish building the duct, if you are given 100 men, how many man days do you need? You need 12 man days. So this 12 won't change. Now what are they saying? To finish this task, which is 12 man days, if you need to finish this task in 2 days, how many men do you need? Let's take it as x. Right? Now, x into 2, that is 2x. So 2x is equal to 12. Then divide both sides by 2 here. X is equal to 6. So that means if you need to finish the task in 2 days, how many men do you need? You need 6 men. Right now, asking how many more men, right? Already have 4 more men. So total you need 6 men. So then how many more men do you need? You need 2 more men. If you need 2 more men. Right. Wait, give me a minute, guys. Start with 6 one. A container of 5-liter capacity was completely filled with solids. Okay, so a container. So the capacity of the container is 5 liters. So they have filled fully 5 liters of soft drinks in the container. 3 over 10 of this amount was used to serve drinks. Right? So then 3 over 10. What does that 3 over 10 means? If you divide the container into 10 parts, right? 3 parts is used to serve drinks. Another question, that I have 10 parts of soft drinks. Remember, 3 parts is used to serve. What fraction of the capacity of the container was the amount of soft drinks remaining after using a portion to serve drinks? Right? Now the container, if you divide the container into 10 parts, now 3 parts is used to serve drinks. Now they're asking after serving drinks, what is the portion remaining? Right? So if you divide the container into 10 parts, 10 over 10, 3 parts is served already. So now what is remaining in the container? 7 over 10. Okay, 7 over 10 is a fraction remaining in the container. Right. Now number 2. 5 over 7 of the soft drinks remaining is poured into a bottle. Now what is remaining? 7 over 10. Is that 5 over 7 from the total? No, it's from the remaining. So first we have to find what is that amount from the total, right? 5 over 7 of the total, right? Now 5 over 7 of its multiplication, 7 over 10, 7 and 7 cancel, so 5 over 10. That means if you divide the container into 10 parts, 5 parts is poured inside the bottle. Initially, 3 parts is used to serve drinks. Right now, the question, what fraction of the capacity of the container was the amount of soft drinks left inside the container? Right now, out of 10 parts, 2 parts is used to serve what? 3 parts, sorry. Right? 3 parts is used to serve drinks, then 7 parts were remaining. Then from that, 5 parts is what? Is poured into a bottle. Now what is remaining? 2 over 10. 2 parts from the total is remaining inside the container. So you simplify this, you will get 1 over. Okay? Right. Good that way, right? Now the question, Roman number 3. Now, more soft drinks was added to the amount of soft drinks in the container. Now, what is the amount of soft drinks in the container? Over 10. 2 over 10 inside the container. More soft drinks is added until half of the container is filled. Right. Now, if the denominator is 10, what is half of 10? 5. So that means you have only 2 over 10 of the container initially. Then you add some amount into the container, it became half of the container, that is 5 parts out of 10. Now the question is, what is this amount? Right? So then clearly you can see 2 plus what will give you 5? 2 plus, right? So then you can, if you put this as x as unknown, you can write what? X is equal to 5 over 10. Take this 2 over 5 here, minus 2 over 10, that is 3 over. So the amount of drinks or the soft drinks put inside the container, that is 3 over 10. Now what? The question is, express this amount in liters, right? Now initially they told you the whole capacity of the tank is what? 5 liters. So 10 parts equal to or represent 5 liters. Now you have to find how much is 1 part, right? So 5 divided by 10. So then that is 0.5 liters. So 1 part is representing 0.5 liters. You need 3 parts. So if 1 part is 0.5 multiplied by 3, 0.5 into 3, that is equal to 1.5 liters. Is that okay? Right. I'll repeat again, Roman number 2. Right. See here. Now initially in the tank remaining is 2 over 10. They are telling they are adding some soft drinks, some more soft drinks in the container until half of the container is filled. Now you know the container has 10 parts. If half of the container should be filled, what is half of 10? Half of 10 is 5. That means 5 parts should be filled. Okay, 5 parts should be filled in the container. Right? Already you have 2 parts. That means how much more should you add? 2 parts, you have to add 3 more parts. So that means the amount of soft drinks put into the container is 3 over 10. Right? 3 more parts should be added. Then they are asking what is that amount in liters. So if 10 over 10 is 5 liters, 1 over 10 is divided by 10, that is 0.5 liters. So 3 parts, 0.5 into 3. Okay? Right, good. Okay, now we'll move on to the last question in the tube. That is 2021. There. Right, start doing that. Okay, again, I think you left the class. Okay, others start doing. Okay, right? Or come again. Now you had 2 over 10 inside the container. Right? They are telling, they are adding some more. We don't know the amount, some more into the container until half of the container is filled. Right? Now you know the total number of parts is 10. So half of the container to be filled, you need half of 10, that is 5. Okay, you need to put this on. Okay, so then they told you what? The total capacity of the tank is 5 liters. So 10 parts is 5 liters. 1 part is 5 divided by 10. That is 0.5 liters. So if 1 part is 0.5 liters, how much have you added into the container? 3 parts. So then 0.5 into 3, 1.5. Okay, right. Now go to the last one, guys. Right. Again, the straightforward question, nothing complicating here. Right? From a stock of type of cosmetics produced by a certain company, 205 is allocated for shops. 205, is it from the total amount? Yes. Right? 205 is from the total amount. Is allocated for shops. 308 for export. Is it from the total amount? Yes. Again, both 205 and 308, they are 205 is for shops and 308 is for exports. Both are from the total amount. Okay. The question, what fraction of the total stock is a quantity allocated for shops and for export? Like they are asking what is the total allocated for both the next, right? So individually they have given the fraction from the total. You just have to add them to get the total in common. Right, so 5 and 8, the LCM is 40. So 5 into 8 is 40. 2 into 8, you have to multiply both numerator and denominator by the same number. Now 8 into 5 is 40. Multiply the numerator also by the same number. So you have 16 over 40 plus 15 over 40. Right. So if you divide the total number of stamps, cosmetics, so if you divide the total number of cosmetics into 40 parts, 16 parts is given for the shop, 15 parts are exported. Right. So if you add them together, you get 31 over 40. So together, 31 over 40, 31 parts are given to shop and to export. Right. Okay, good. Now, Roman number 2. 1 over 3 of the remaining. Now, 40 parts out of that 31 are gone. What is remaining? 9 parts are remaining. So, 9 over 40 is remaining. Right? So, 1 over 3 of this remaining amount, not 1 over 3 from the total, 1 over 3 of the remaining amount is kept for sale within the company itself. If the value of this quantity is 6,000, right? So 1 over 3 of remaining, that is 9 over 40. What is that? 1 over 3 into 9 over 40. Now you can cross simplify and divide by 3 is 1, divide by 3 is 3. 3 over 40. This 3 over 40, right? So divide that cosmetic, total cosmetic into 40 parts. These 3 parts is equal to 6,000. Now the question is, what is the value of the total cosmetics? Right? If 3 parts is 6,000, how much is 1? Right? 6,000 divided by 3, what is that? 2,000. So 1 part is 2,000. Now we have 40 parts. To find the total cost, find all 40 parts. Then 2,000 into 40. 4 into 2 is 8. We have 4 zeros and those 4 zeros. Right? What do you have now? 80,000. So cost of all, the value of all the cosmetics is equal to 80. Is that clear until that point? Right. Good. Now after that, again there is another mandate question, right? I remember there is a lesson on mandate also we're going to learn. Okay, anyways. It has been estimated that 12 employees will take 7 days to produce the above stock. So 12 men working for 7 days can finish this task. What is the task? That is the man days. So 12 into 7, that is 84. So 84 man days, that is the task to finish this work. Now, it is required to produce twice the quantity. So if it is twice the quantity, it is twice the task. To finish the task 84, twice the task, you multiply this by 2, what you get? 160. Now the task is 168. Now this task should be finished by 8 people. So it should be finished in 8 days. This task should be finished in 8 days. The question is, how many men is required? Right? So, how many women, right? Yeah. So 8 into x, 8x is equal to 168. Divide both sides by 8 here to find the value of x. Then 16 divided by 8 is 2. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So that means you need 21 men. But already you have 12 men. So the movement, they're asking how many men. So that is 21 minus 12, that is 9. So you need 9 movement take this task. I'll explain again the last part. Right? And here I think it's fine. Right? So they are telling to complete this, to produce this cosmetic, you need 12 men and 7 days. Okay. So in the terms of man days, you are going to find what is the how much big is the task? What is the value of the task? So 12 into 7, that is 84 man days. That is the task we have to do to produce this cosmetic. Now they are telling they need to produce twice this cosmetic amount. For example, let's say here they are producing 100 cosmetics. Now if you need to produce 200 cosmetics, that is twice the task, twice the energy, twice the effort. Right? So here it is 84 tasks, then to produce twice the cosmetic, that is twice the task. 84 into 2, that is 168. Now that also they need to finish this task in how many days? In 8 days. Now the question is how many more men is required? Now first we are going to find how many men is required. So x into 8, 8x is 168. So you need 21 more, 21 men. But already how many men is there? 12 men is there. So if you minus 12 from 21, that is 9 men. So you need 9 more men to finish the task. Is that clear, everyone? Any doubt there? In these fractions, right? The whole idea you have to put, you have to know the basics, right? What does the denominator tell you? What does the numerator tell you? How do you add, subtract, multiply, divide? How to do all of those basic mathematical calculations with regard to fractions? Okay. Then the next thing you have to know, what do you have to know? Whether when you are doing questions, are they talking from the total amount or are they talking from the remaining? If they are talking from the remaining amount, always convert it to the total amount. Right? Then, if it is from the total amount, you can add then subtract. If it is not from the total amount, you can't and then subtract. Then, if you find the remaining amount in terms of the total amount, then you can add and subtract. Right? So then, if they relate it, the fraction to the value, always. See here, 3 parts is 6,000. How much is 1 part? Then you find the relevant number of parts. Right? So, likewise, do more questions right now. Don't do 2022, 23, and 24. Do the previous ones. Now I have taken from 2015, right? Go home, do 2014, 2013, 2012, likewise. Right? Okay, that's it for today. Right? If you want to continue the class further, if you are already from my theory class, you know what to do. Just drop a message to the management. If not, if you're not from my theory class, drop a message to the relevant details on how to. Thank you for joining. Take care. Assalamu. So after class, go home. I told you, do the questions before 2015. That is from 2014, 13, 12, likewise.